Okay, so here's the challenge that I'm proposing. This is for controller players specifically. I think for MNK players this is pretty good too, but I'd rather an MNK player just aim train. You could also try it. I think this would be worthwhile doing an MNK as well. So here's a challenge. Basically R9 everything set to max. These are the settings. It doesn't matter what this is. 100 health. Doesn't matter. It's low. Spawn distance is 4. This is important for a reason. Invincible targets enabled. Auto reload on hit enabled. So basically infinite ammo. Auto reload on kill off. It doesn't really matter because it just doesn't matter. Okay, so here's the trick. Challenge duration is 300. That's 5 minutes. Okay, everything else like that. So what you do is you take your strafing dummy and you run all the way to this tree. I think this is about 10 meters. And then you just shoot with only your right stick. Here's a little trick. I set the aim button to toggle. That way I don't have to hold down and I'm only using my right stick. When I do this, again, I haven't played roller in forever, but I get like 30 or 32%. I think Blooming Flower gets 50%. That's kind of the standard that you should be getting. But the reason I thought of this challenge is because one of the biggest issues with roller, or the seemingly difficult part of roller, is long distance. So how do we actively train that? I think the way to do that is by doing this. Getting this 34% to 50%, and then 50% to 60%. I think players like Koifel, Zapdo, a lot of those guys have kind of proven that there is a level above what we know when it comes to controller aim. Like before we thought, I don't know, Chaotic Much was like the max level. But then Koifel came along and showed that he's at least more consistent. I don't know if he beams harder. I talked to Blooming Flower about it, or he's rebranding as Kaniru. But I talked to Bloom about it, and he said that when he fought Koifel, he said that Koifel is just way more consistent than everybody else. That's what Syke says too. He calls him R5 Jesus. And there's a reason why everybody talks about him. I think Koifel's really, really smart. He's a very smart player. But in terms of just raw mechanics, I think you can actually actively improve your long distance by reactivity, by reading skills, all that, etc. I'm using Xbox on a budget laptop, not budget laptop, but like on a work laptop on Jungle Internet. So basically the way I set this up is I went to create. Hold on, let me do this. The server's shutting down. I should have done this in the beginning. So basically you create, you go straight to select playlist, aim trainer, Kings Canyon, and then offline. These don't really matter. So again, playlist, Kings Canyon, offline. And then I will do the scenario again. Also, you can do this with not just SMGs. I would recommend to do this with like G7 or like Hemlock or Wingman. The reason for that is because, especially if you're in competitive Apex, you're going to want to get really good at marksman weapons, like G7. So maybe G7, 1x, right? You go back, same scenario. So enabled, disabled, 300. You have to do this over again. But I think this is a good way to, I would like, if I were you, I would like go down to Yeah, if I were you, I would go down to I would figure out like what your accuracy is. Sorry, enabled. Figure out your accuracy and then work on that. Just like improve it by. If you can improve your accuracy by 10%, that means you improve your consistency by 10%, which is kind of bananas if you think about it. I don't know if this will actually give you a 1x, but it does give you a 1x. Okay, cool. So maybe the G7. You see what I mean? It's teaching you micro corrections. Like, one of the biggest issues I've seen with R5 Reloaded Aim Trainer, and I'm the R5 guy, you know what I mean? I love R5, isn't so much R5 Reloaded, but how people use it. A lot of rollers will default to, will default to this. They'll default to, like, R99, everything, like, perfect, you know? And then they just, like, walk up to the strafing dummy, you know, and then they just do close range. Like, this is the strength of roller, right? Like, this is obviously, you know, like, getting 80% on this is, like, really cool and everything, and it's definitely great. But the thing is, though, like, this is the strength of roller. You don't need to work on your strengths. You gotta work on your weaknesses. Like, right now, obviously, I'm just, like, not good. But that's why I propose people go to the tree. I call this the tree challenge. And then just stay here. You don't touch your left stick at all. And just work on getting to 50%. And then increase that 50% to 60%. And then I'd like for somebody to get to 65, 70% eventually. But I really think this is like the key to getting Koifel level beings. Because I remember talking to Bloom about it. He said Koifel just is like way more consistent and beams better than everybody else, even sites. So I think playing 1v1 servers is great for a basis, or at least aim translation. But when it comes to raw mechanics, I really think using the aim trainer is the best way of improving your skill in at least your raw mechanics and your right stick mechanics. And I'm saying this as, you know, the Karma server admin guy. I highly recommend aim training more than playing just R5 Reloaded for a lot of MNK players too. I'm MNK now. I started Roller, but I'm at MNK now. I play mostly Aim Beast. But if you don't have Aim Beast, or if you hate Aim Labs and it's super clunky, maybe you can just hop into here and just do this, just like the rollers do, you know? So this is 43%. Oops, forgot I have this on toggle. So again, tree, toggle, just only work on right stick. Imagine if you can, you know, if you're 10% more consistent, if you're, you know, 15%, 20% more consistent, that would be insane. Okay, that's pretty much it. That's the tree challenge. I'm going to post this, and then I want to see what everybody's like scores are, and then let me know if you can actively improve it. That's it. Oh shit, I gotta change the stream title of this. Okay. What? Studio, YouTube Studio.